What's going on, Cancer? I salute the divinity in you, and welcome to the Chariot Friends. Justin here, and how you feeling? You ready to chit chat it up? The moon's in Gemini. I always love when the moon's in Gemini. About to start a fresh lunar return. A lot of freshness this week for me. But the thing I do love about the moon in Gemini is that this does invite us to get curious about about the things that we're feeling. As far as like how we've been maybe processing processing these emotions that maybe been coming up, but also too, I think that when you think about the cyclical nature of the moon, that those are some great things to kind of ponder. And do I feel like I'm in my timeline? Do I feel like I'm in alignment here? Do I feel like I've been thrown out of whack? Maybe time's been getting away from me, or things have been just kind of dragging along. So it's like, how am I filling that space? And also too, I think we're going to be talking about like Gemini being the communicators, where you're getting support from. Do the relationships that you have support your well-being, or the things that you ingest and that you absorb, do they suggest your support your well-being? And we'll get into all that here in a moment. But if you're new here, again, my name is Justin, and know that when you're coming across this video, you're in sync with the moon, and she loves that. And this is also a place for you if you happen to have Cancer in your placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, maybe Mercury, your plane of communication, wherever. This one's for you. And I do tarot card spreads based on that lovely luminary, the good old moon. And I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, and when she's going void. Of course, just all them lunar shenanigans, which I remembered I did not mention a couple, and I'll include a link for how to check the void of course time, so that you know when the next one's coming in, because it's very useful information. And we're actually getting ready to wrap those up here soon, so it's kind of energy. It'll be business as usual. The moon will just be chatting it up from here on out. But yeah, we'll get into all those lunar shenanigans. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what fits into your story, discard the rest, and everything will be dope, Cancer. Now, let's jump into it, because I enjoy a good Gemini moon. But before we jump into that, depending on when you're watching this, happy Mars Day. Let's get the energy up. Mars is associated with Tuesdays, and this is a time to get pumped. This is a time to get the blood rushing, get the blood pumping. This is one of my favorite workout days. I look forward to a Mars Day, because it is a great day for just doing some sort of activity, getting outside, getting the body moving. It doesn't have to be something aggressive. It could be something like yoga. This could be just going for a walk, whatever that may be looking like. But yeah, just something to just get energized. I like when work with Mars days. This could be a great day for maybe if you have to do any sort of like moving. This could be where you can schedule, try to play around with that. Or maybe playing around with like Mars hours, about doing some things. Maybe the Mars hours are your active hours. Those are my walking times. Don't disturb me during Mars. So that might be something to consider there. But also, too, one thing that I also like doing is just thinking about what is my relationship with Mars. How do I, what sign Mars is in, what house do I have Mars natally? How do I deal with Mars transiting, and as far as like by house and even by aspect? I did all right with this Mars one. This Mars and Cancer kind of put me to work a little bit. It's going through my 12th house, so it was all right. But you know what? Mars did bring some insights in. It was overall constructive, but I have a day chart too, so Mars really does sometimes like whip things up. So it's good to know that. It's good to observe that, and you get to know like, okay, this planet is in this sign. It's going to start lighting up all these placements. I need to get ready, or you either get ready like to go in hermit mode, or get ready to get into some opportunities here, because Mars is about to go through my first house, and that's going to be great. I'm about to be moving. It's going to be fantastic. Going to start up some new things. It's going to be great. So those are just some things that I like to do as well. I'll have a Mars return coming up here soon, so that'll be actually exciting. I've been tracking these cycles as of late, so that'll be kind of nice to reflect upon and see where I'm going to next energetically. So just some things to think about there. But let's get into the lunar shenanigans, because on the 1st of April, we're in April now, the moon is going to enter into Gemini at about 1:26 p.m., and that's going to be Pacific time, and she's in a waxing crescent phase. And I really like this combination of Gemini and the waxing crescent, because this is where now the moon is forming a sextile with the sun, if not even by exact aspect, just by whole sign aspect. And when we think about sextiles, this is where opportunities present themselves. This is really the real kind of abundant little pocket here for some opportunities. This is a great time, especially for Gemini, to get curious. Think about the thing that you wanted to work on, the themes that you had this Aries new moon cycle started on, and what are some things that you can think about? What are some things that you want to explore? What some things you want to learn about? How can you expand upon this? This would be great for that because Gemini is the mutable air sign. They're ruled by Mercury. So this moon's ruled by Mercury, who's retrograde right now, but is reflecting on what it's been doing, where we've been moving, how we've been going about this journey. So I think it's retrograding in a tricky spot, but in a constructive spot nonetheless. And I think that when you think about Gemini, they are they're innovators. They're quick on their toes. This is a great energy to just try something on the fly and you'll figure it out as you go. Don't overthink it. You have all the tools at your disposal because that's where I could see sometimes too. Jupiter's here as well in Gemini. So maybe there could be a lot of overthinking that's been going on here. And this could be learning to even learn how to trust yourself more intuitively when you get those nudges. Get curious about those intuitive nudges, those feelings that you can't quite explain. Why am I being tugged that way? Maybe I should just explore this anyway. What's the worst that's going to happen? But I don't like it and then I move on. But at least I know now I don't have to question whether there was an opportunity here or not. Moon's mysterious like that. So those are just some things that I think, and again, really pay attention to when we have certain thoughts and things that may be getting in the way of us taking opportunities, any sort of doubts and things. Because I think that's what I pretty much have for the lunar shenanigans there. I want to get into your general energy of the day, which is hexagram 8. Oh, and I meant to change that. It's actually support. That's fine. We'll just leave it. Alliance, support is the same thing. But in this book that I'm utilizing, the translation for this is support. I'll have to adjust that when I go to do my notes. But this is water over earth. And you don't have any changing lines today, so we're just working with the main oracle, or the main hexagram text at hand here. So that's just something to think about. If you want to look more into this, I recommend you to check that out. I'm pretty sure I included a link for a link for a website that has all of the hexagrams, what they mean and how, or at least what the lines are, and so that you can resonate or sit with them and allow yourself to kind of steep in that energy. But let's get to the oracle here, because it has here good fortune, but in the original oracle it says eternal well-being, and I like that. It talks about eternal well-being. The rebellious cometh, last to arrive, he meets his end. Now, when we're thinking about this eternal well-being, this is just, I think, you taking really care of being in that state of taking care of yourself. You want to be in whatever this area it is. I think just in life in general, we want every aspect of our life to be as nurtured and as in its place as possible here. And when it talks about the rebellious cometh, I think that it's looking at the things that get in the way of you improving yourself. And those are the challenges. And it's like, what can we do? What are some ways that we can get around, maybe if there are any sort of doubts, or maybe there are certain relationships that have been maybe keeping you down, and maybe we need to keep some things to ourselves. Maybe you need to let someone be the last to know a certain set of information as far as like what you're doing. Maybe when you share something with someone, maybe they tend to say something that maybe deflates you a little bit, and it may not be intentional, but it is something to consider. Especially with this hexagram here, there's a lot of yin energy in here. There's a lot of things that we're receiving before we're taking action here. So I would just kind of pay attention to that. But it's interesting here. I think that there is something too about being really stern with the support that you're getting, as far as like being in and how you're taking care of yourself. Because the interesting thing about this oracle is that the story behind it, as far as like the last to arrive, he meets his end. There was this general who ran things with an iron fist, and this kind of rebellious, sort of kind of wily maybe captain, I think, showed up late for one of his meetings, and the general had the guy executed. And so I think that it's those sides of you that I think that, again, that maybe procrastinate that, and it's fine, to have to rest up and things and recharge and whatnot. That side that maybe puts off things or whatever that might be looking like. I think there's a need to meet something with a bit more. Be mindful of what you're receiving, the type of quote unquote support that you're seeing, and being curious about it. It's like, is this really for my eternal well-being? Is this something that is really, or is there something else that's stirring up here? And this may bring up something in you, and maybe there might be some people who are the last to realize that this change is happening. You just maybe make these things, maybe this is more of a subtle shift that you're making. Maybe there's been a lot of toxicity maybe at the workspace, so now you're just kind of casually maybe cutting yourself off or kind of moving away, or maybe even toxicity amongst the family space, amongst the friend space, and you're just like, what, this isn't for my well-being. I'm not really feeling supported in this, and this is not something that I want to support. So that may be something too. You may be the last to arrive on that. I'd rather just not go, period. So that might even be something that depending on what kind of guidance that you're looking for, that may be something to consider with this oracle here. But let's go ahead and switch over here and get into the tarot. So I think that's all I got here for that hexagram. But last couple of things here, these readings that I do, they're not gender specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations. And since you don't have any changing lines, I'm just kind of playing around with this. I think I'm going to pull one card from each of these decks, because I'm going to pull 6 cards. So that way we get an even amount there and we get some different energies into the mix there and just kind of play off of that. So how's that sound? I'm imagining you say sounds great. So let's get into this. Like I said, I'm going to be pulling 6 cards, and each of them are going to deal with different themes here. And the first card is going to cover any sort of short-term money matters. And this is not financial advice or anything, just by the way, but just some things to think about when it comes to the financial space. Okay. I'm with that. You know what? I love this one. You got the Page of Wands here. And I really do enjoy the Page of Wands. This is a very fun energy, a very fiery energy. And I think that this is doing things that you really enjoy. Look at this lizard learning how to juggle, unbothered, just really digging itself. And the pages, they're a lot more powerful than I think then they're given credit for. The pages, when you think about them as archetypes, this is the earthy part. Oh, excuse me, the earthy part of fire with this Page of Wands. So this is like the materialization of the will. This is like really allowing yourself to explore and to let yourself be, allow that rebellious side of you to come out a little bit. This is something where maybe you've been the last, like, why be the last one to experience this energy that we're going through right now, this chance to explore different sides of yourself. Well, yeah, there's a lot that's going on, but what does that have to deal with, the rest? How do you keep your well-being in all of the things that are going on here? And this may be some sort of short-term investments, doing some things like maybe investing in some sort of hobbies or things along those lines, little things that you can, that just consider, promote what you're doing. I just got these Yarrow sticks, and I'm loving them. It's been a great part of how I've been, engaging in this sort of divining practice. I've been investing in books, so that's just an example of how, of how just a practical approach to this could be, and then keeping it. I think the challenge maybe would be is just keeping it into practice. This short term thing is going to really have some long term benefits. So keep that view in mind as well. We're keeping that eternal well-being in mind. Maybe you've been spending things that have been maybe just been kind of like dopamine hits, just been kind of doing stuff, been doing it for that moment, but how sustainable is that? I think that there's something also with that there in the Page of Wands there. So just something to just maybe meditate on there. But let's get into the next card. which deals with any sort of medical matters. And this is not medical advice or anything. Talk with your doctors, your energy healers, things along those lines. But let's see what's going on in this space here. All right, so you have the Hanged Man here. And maybe things have been in a bit of a stasis right now. Maybe you've been in limbo. Maybe you might find yourself in some awkward positions right now. Maybe you got maybe something where you've needed to keep something elevated, or maybe needing to. And this could be where maybe I'm just getting a lot of, like, not necessarily feeling pressure in the head, but that's the message that I'm getting. There's a focus around the head space that's kind of coming through there. Maybe things have been feeling a little murky. The Hanged Man can represent elemental water, so maybe there have been some kind of feelings around something here. Maybe you've been sacrificing a lot of your time for things, and now this could be a time for you to get some stuff back there again. Maybe reflecting on what's been worth your eternal well-being there. And I'm just getting to, like, there are going to be people, I think, maybe when you're making these shifts, that are going to feel some type of way about this. And I think it's like last to arrive, he meets his end. Let this be kind of show too, like the people who are worth, kind of sacrificing your time for, your health for, your energy towards. That's just another thing that's just kind of coming through there. But I think this too is just really kind of seeing where you've just been pouring your energy, where, like, have the things that you've been doing, have they really been kind of fueling you up, or have they been kind of holding you down? This may be a need to kind of pause and stop for a minute and just kind of feel into the body. Maybe that might be something, where's this thing going? What are some ways that I can change? And, you may not be sure what that change is, but I just think that there's something where you may be sensing that, like, maybe something's off there, something, maybe there's, you're looking for some, getting curious about life again. When was the last time that you felt inquisitive about something, or just like, you're like, ooh, what's that? Or, something along those lines there, where you felt like you learned something, or that you felt like your vessel is expanding, even so that you can contain more water. Something there, and we're talking metaphorical here with this water. Just something where, just like feeling more fulfilled, being able to take more, receive more. Wait. Let's get into your next card here, which is going to deal with any sort of legal matters or social affairs, but this isn't legal advice or anything like that. Talk to your lawyers. Oh, absolutely. Talk to your lawyer, and what a great lawyer. You got the King of Coins here. And this might be if you do have any sort of like legal advice. I wouldn't scrimp on this. Or scrimp, is that the word I'm looking for? Skimp on this, something like that. I wouldn't go for a court appointed one, representing oneself. Not unless you have the know-how. Now that's a whole other thing, that might be something. But I think that this is here too, just like making sure to seek any sort of like wise counsel, someone who's going to put in the work, who's going to put in the quality work too, to help you to get what you need to get done here. I think there's too a need to maybe even feel like a King of Pentacles, and not that we're putting on a front, but just getting out there, putting your best dress on, and just going out there and doing something. Maybe going to like an opera. This is not doing things that you're not interested in, but just like doing something where maybe going on a night on the town, doing something with some friends. You don't even have to spend a lot, but just getting in an energy where you're just getting dressed up, feeling good. Just feeling motivated here. I also think too that there's something about maybe having some courage here to start up something, maybe something that requires like a contract, like an LLC, or maybe you're getting into some sort of like real estate, something very King of Pentacles, like where you're dealing with any sort of like material matter, something that's going to require a lot of work, a lot of your devotion. But I think that this is too just an invitation of, and maybe even two, of promoting oneself too. With the look at how this King of Pentacles is standing firm. I really enjoy this King of Coins here. Very, and it's not extravagant what or like what it's doing, but it's very, there's still a present. This King of Coins is a vibe. So that's what I think it is too, kind of channeling into your inner vibe there and having fun with it. Again, that Page of Wands, you can something that you can enjoy too as well there. But let's get into your next card, which talks about any sort of like romantic matters and marriage, things along those lines, relationship things. Oh, you got the High Priestess here. I love when she comes out. And this is very interesting. You got these, I'm just noticing you got these majors and these people here. And considering that the Page of Wands and the Kings of Coins is here, this could be a time where maybe you're sensing someone's signs here, or And you know what? This isn't necessarily waiting on someone. Maybe you've been waiting, maybe you've been giving signs, possibly with the High Priestess. You've been sending these signals, and if the King of Coins is not picking up on that, then maybe you need to put your energies elsewhere. Maybe the King of Coins isn't picking up what you're putting down. That might be something. The roles could be in reverse too. That's something to keep in mind here. Maybe you're sensing that someone's been, kind of coming on a little strong. They've been learning new skills. They're trying to juggle for you. That's cute. But I think that if there isn't that attraction there, to let them know. Maybe you need to make the signs a bit more obvious. And if you have, then maybe there's, and hopefully it hasn't gotten to that, but don't be, be mindful of the steps that you can take to resolve a problem, if that resonates, if you're picking up what I'm putting down. But I do think the High Priestess is like, there's a sense here, what I'm feeling is like there's a need for some fun. And maybe this King of Coins is it doesn't have to be necessarily a date, but it's just like, maybe we're not sure of someone's intentions, possibly. And it's not to say that you have to go out on something, but I think there's just like, it could be even like a friend inviting you for something. You're like, I'm not sure if I'm going to want to watch this lizard juggle. And then you go and you end up having a great time. Or watch this meerkat get dressed up in its fancy suit and count its coins. You might, but whatever this event might be, I think that there's something's here with that, then there's some feelings about that, or maybe things are getting ready to change and you're sensing this change. I'm not quite sure what that might be. Maybe you're, King of Coins was wanting to take things to that next level, and you're like, I'm not quite sure yet. I've just been enjoying this fun. I'm not sure if I'm ready to sacrifice more for that yet. You may need to, and again, maybe you get a friend there to give you some perspective there, to see things from a different view with that Hanged Man. But that's just some things to consider there. Now let's get to the fifth card, which talks about any sort of like immediately pressing affairs or things along those lines. I'm with that. You do have, that's very interesting. You got the Sun card here. And it's like something's coming into view. The Sun is giving me more like a spotlight energy. There's something that we're needing to get some eyes on. Something's emerged. Something's changing. And I think we need to look at the things where it's like you may be coming into your light, but maybe people aren't receiving that light well. Like, and it's not that they don't want the best for you, but let's say, for example, you decide to you're getting sober, and then you tell your friends, and then they're just like, well, what the hell, like, we used to do this thing, and I don't know if I like these changes that you're doing and whatnot, like something like that. And you may need to roll with a different group or find different ways to connect with each other. But I think that there's I think there's something here too about denying yourself maybe happiness. That's very interesting. Where maybe we're thinking we're not, like, don't deserve this sunlight for some particular reason, or something there. Because, I mean, you got the sun and the moon here, literally, because the priestess is represented by the moon. So there's an opportunity in here, to maybe to get some get closer to your state of happiness. Maybe you're even get to a place where you feel grounded in the and supported in the people that you're in. You're feeling like this king of coins. And I'm even just getting there with the connection with the hanged man. Like, maybe something that comes up around the Cancer energy when we get to that first quarter, and you end up taking some sort of action there. So I just pay attention to that. But let's get the last card here, which talks about the destiny, or the karma of the situation. So you got the Five of Cups here. And that's interesting. Maybe there's this, we're getting ready to start this new chapter, because that's what I was really getting from the sun here. But there's something that we're disappointed about something. There's in this new changes, we may have lost a lot in this. And it may have put you through a lot where we've had to experience a lot of things, and now you're getting back into this realm. And there might even be this doubt of, did I make the right choice? Is this the right path for me? And I think it's, got to be careful about that sort of, like, is this the right choice? I think it's not a matter of what's right, or, well, of course there's right and wrong and all that, but I think it's a matter of how you work with the choices that you've made. Having hindsight, like, that's great for reflecting, but it's just like, going forward, it's just like, what do you do with that information? You're already here. Is what I'm getting here. There's no, process the feelings as you need to. Maybe need to get in this hanged man thing for a bit. But even I think the high priestess is knowing that, hey, we got to find some light here. Maybe this is a need to, again, maybe you just need to, maybe things have been a little tough here. The rebellious maybe have been winning. And now, again, like I said, like I mentioned, where it was time to maybe be a bit stricter on yourself, possibly, where maybe you've been kind of down, and now it's time to rein in that rebellious side. In that rebellious side, I'm talking about the inner critic, the one that tells you can't do things, that bullies the side of you that wants to express itself and things like that. So that's what I'm really kind of getting with this Five of Cups here. Very interesting. Let's see what am I going to get advice from? Let's get it from here. Let's get some advice from Mercury. All right, so you have the Ten of Wands here, and let's go ahead and switch over. Because with this Ten of Wands, when you're working towards your well-being, this eternal well-being comes with eternal work. There's going to be a lot of pressure and a lot of things that are going to interfere with that, because it's just the nature of the universe. Things are always balancing out. As you're growing, that opens new doors for you, which opens new challenges, and, new relationships come and go, and places come and go, and moods come and go. And I think that there's something here about the Ten of Wands can be a strengthening card. This is Saturn and Sagittarius, and I really think, like, when you work with Saturn in a fire sign, Saturn really can help you push, and really kind of show you that you're stronger than you think. Because I'm thinking about the Ten of Wands in the Rider White deck, and or the White Smith deck, and that guy's jacked. He's like buff, and I think that it really comes from, yeah, this can be an overburden card, but I think that there's more so of a strengthening here, and the work that really comes from when you fight that side of you, and kind of when we're exercising the boundaries, when we're doing this work, when we're showing up each day, doing the best that we can, and not putting too much pressure on ourselves. Again, doing what is available to us at that moment, sensing that we're in alignment, feeling fulfilled in things, then that stuff, it compounds, and it strengthens us. And next thing you know, you're full of sunlight, and these disappointments that come through, you can look at them with a different perspective. They don't hit as hard. It's just like, oh, that's what that was trying to teach me there. That's why I went through this thing. That's what that was for. And it may have seemed like a harsh end. The situation met its end, but at least the thing arrived. At least like the awareness arrived. And that's maybe what that high priestess is there too, an awareness of something that was needing to change there. And even the sun, I think, was bringing some sort of awareness there, but there's a rebellion is coming. I think that is something to pay attention to, especially if you're feeling kind of pent up or oppressed with that Ten of Wands. I do think that this is not to keep that stuff bottled up. Like they're finding a way, because what'll happen is it'll come out on accident, and it'll be really aggressive, because it'll be like a pot with the lid sealed down, as opposed to we just let that bad boy air out. Then it just look at that, and then we add some rosemary, fills up the house with nice smells, and again, we were lost in metaphor, but. That's all I got for you there. A little something to think about. But if you like that, if anything resonated with you, give it a thumbs up. And share this if you know somebody who can get some nuggets of wisdom from this. And then subscribe there, you high priestess. Hit that bell button to get notified when I release videos each day. And then I'm going to pull for your surprise cards here. But if you want to know what's going on with the other celestial bodies, the Sun, Saturn, maybe Mercury, on my other channel, Alchemist 8, I do weekly videos talking about the transits and what signs the planets are in, so you know what houses to look into and how to work with those energies. And also, I do these videos talking about different planets and different signs and different houses. It's a series that I'm doing. So, yeah, I have all that stuff by playlist. So if you want to check out your placement, it's meant to give you just some things maybe to think about your placement, just to kind of understand where my line of thinking is at when I'm coming to ask you these questions, like why I go about the way I do and how I search to things. So it gets you thinking about the chart that way too. But let's get to your surprise cards here. We got 2 cards today. How interesting. I like this. You got a lot of almost magician energy with, considering we got Mercury here, but got the Hands card here, and you have the Weaver card here. And if you're trying to weave together, again, this eternal well-being, there's some things that are going to have to come together in that cauldron. Some things that are going to mix, and there's some things that can't go in, because otherwise it's going to spoil the soup. And I think there's something here about, too many hands in a pot. Again, things get messy. So I think that there's something about, being mindful about how the support that we're receiving from others. Again, and when we're thinking about Gemini too, that Gemini, I think, can pick up on a lot of things, a lot of information can I don't want to say lose itself, but I think sometimes there can be this mimicking that can happen with Gemini. Just it's maybe unconscious mimicking. I'm not quite sure what that's about. That's something to think about there. But there are higher forces at play here. You see this outline of this hand in the background here. And you got a lot of majors here. It's dominating half the reading. And so I think that their spirit is moving some things around here to support you through the rebellion that cometh, and the rebellion that may be coming. And again, there may be some disappointments that come through this. You may feel some kind of like maybe pressures to make these decisions, but I think ultimately it's going to lead to, again, your eternal well-being. You know, this may be some cycles that are ending out. Maybe we're leaving a certain place of employment, or maybe, you know, changing up how we do some, maybe a certain place, or certain beliefs are changing, whatever that might look like for you. So yeah, just some things to meditate on there. Very, very interesting. But I think that's all I got for you. So until next time, stay mindful out there. Keep eyes on that moon. And I will catch you on the next one. When am I going to catch you? Oh, when am I going to catch you? Oh, there we go. Jupiter Day.